Right, so we're thinking about today what we would say to our younger selves. That's a wide topic. That's a wide question. But really, I think that comes down to sort of like success, what we would say to maybe a kid who's looking to sort of do whatever they need to do. What would we say? I don't know. I guess don't worry about life too much. Don't take life too seriously. Yeah, what's your thoughts, man? That's a hard one to start with. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you say to that?
I don't know, if I had to speak to my younger self, I'd look at the mistakes that I made. So what didn't I do enough when I was younger? I didn't read enough. So this is me. This is not everyone, but I didn't like reading. I thought I was really good at sport, basketball, rugby. I was going to make it at one of them. And I was really fast doing athletics. So I thought, come on, why am I wasting time reading? Do you know what I mean? And so I didn't like reading because I wasn't good at it. Them times there was no diagnosis for dyslexia or anything like that. So I was just not as good as other people. But what I didn't realise was it was about practicing. It was about repetitive and doing it over and over. And actually I should have challenged myself more to read more. And the importance of being able to read. Because it's all great speaking, and I'm a very good speaker. But sometimes you have to be able to read to have the knowledge to speak. And so what happens is it becomes difficult. So I wish I had a passion for reading. That's something I've made my kids. They read, like they read. I definitely would have said in regards to education, take it more seriously. Just, definitely concentrate at school. Like don't aim to be pass. I always just wanted to pass and get by because I just thought, just had to get past, and my basketball coach wouldn't play me if I didn't get certain grades, and so I just had to pass, and that was good enough for me. But actually, I should have always aimed for 100%, and if I didn't get it, fair enough. But at least I knew I put in enough effort to try and achieve that. And then, like, I think you get a bit older, and the friends that you had. I had great friends, so I was good. But I would definitely say check the friends that you have from early. Do you know what I mean? Because not everyone. People are happy with you when you're not doing so well, or when you're useful to them. But when you start to shine and they're not shining anymore, all of a sudden it becomes a problem, and they want you to dampen your shine or dampen your enthusiasm to make them feel better. I'll leave it there. You add some, and then we'll go.
Okay. Back. I think for me, it's study people well. Get to understand what motivates people to do what they do, and that comes round through people within the classroom, that comes round to people within the sports field, that comes down to your parents, your teachers, your friends, and just really understand what makes people tick, because that will become very valuable when it comes to any sort of influence or leadership positions that you may be put in. So understand human psychology. So for someone younger, all I'm really saying is just understand what makes somebody tick, Know what makes people want something and what makes people not want something, and then what you need to do with that. So understand that. I'd say number 2, make as many connections as possible. As many connections as possible.
It's a big one.
I think it's important. Like, don't big friend with anyone, okay? But at the same time, learn the art of being able to connect with as many different people as possible, because that says something about your versatility and adaptability, but also those connections may become really useful in the future. There's a reason why certain people go to certain Ivy League schools, because they have the right connects. Does that make sense? So connect with as many people as possible, and don't feel like you have to feel pressured to stick within a certain crowd. If you don't want to stick with that crowd, like, do your best to get out of that crowd as best as possible. It's not as easy as that for some people. But if you can move out of that, then move away from it, but make as many connects as possible. Number 3, don't be scared to be excellent. Like, don't be scared to be the best. Like, you have to aim to be the best. Because if you get those foundations out the way from the get-go, then you can kind of do what you want after that. You can explore life as much as you want. But if you... Again, like you said, get 100% in your test. You understand exactly what is being discussed within a class or whatever it is. Then you can just have the freedom to do what you want because you've earned that right.
Yeah.
You've earned that right, and it's about earning that right in certain environments. So learn to be the best. The fourth thing I'd say is pick up some sort of activity that you enjoy, whether that's a sport, something creative, or whatever it is. Because I would say sports, for me at least, like you, I did rugby, I did athletics, I did football, I did karate to a decent level. For me, it developed my communication skills. It developed my leadership skills. It developed how I build rapport with different people. And that stuff, I would say, was something that I could transfer into the classroom as well.
Yeah.
You know, when I sort of reduce those things, it's almost like I kind of like fell off the mark as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can see those traits that I'm using when it comes to business and in the workplace as well. So pick up something that you feel like you're passionate about. And the fifth thing is experiment with as many things as you can as early as possible. Now, I say this within reason. Don't do anything illegal, okay? Don't do anything illegal. It's not worth it. But take risk when required or when necessary. Because if you don't try things out, you're never ever going to know what good or bad looks like. Because at a certain age, it's about working out what you want, what you don't want, what you want to compromise on, what good looks like, what bad looks like, and what you don't agree with. You're starting to work out those little things, So learn to sort of treat life like some sort of experiment. Don't be scared, because it will start getting to a stage where you have certain responsibilities, and it's going to be harder for you to do certain things because the risk is much higher than the potential reward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think definitely coming from the environments I came from, I feel like I made the world too small at my young age.
Yeah.
I was always in my ends. What ends? Which kind ends? I can't go to another area. I'm talking about man would going to Stratford was a nervous time in case you bumped into the wrong people.
Yeah.
You made us so small. Didn't you realize, you grow up and realize that London is so small. There's such a big world out there. And so for me, the best part about being older and doing the job that I've done, I've got to go to, even in the UK, I've got to explore the UK and go to different areas and see different cultures and see how people act. Like when I go up north, do you know how polite people are up north?
They stand in the line for the bus.
People just start saying hello to you for no reason.
Yeah.
You get nervous first of all, then you realise they're just happy you're around.
Yeah.
They say good morning to you.
Yeah.
People say, how's your day? You go to the bus stop, people just start talking to you. What are you up to? Where are you coming from? Where you been? Oh, I've been to London. Oh, I go down there. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Just strike up a conversation. Because life's too short to be stush. Life's too short to only talk to people that you know. Broaden your horizons. And I feel like we grew up just thinking about our ends and our block and our road and did it. Forget it.
Yeah.
Let it go. Go and experience life. There's a world out there. I tell people, when I went to Malta last year, and I just there's levels.
Yeah.
Man was on a boat, and I just saw a car park full of yachts.
Wow. Yeah.
And I said, why are man fighting over streets and postcodes, and not fighting over trying to get yachts? Do you understand? We need to broaden our horizons. We need to increase our goals. But how do you? I always tell people I couldn't even dream to be on TV. People say it's a dream come true. Where I come from, we can't even dream about that. Do you understand? Unless you play football or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? And so we need to start educating ourselves so we can start dreaming so much bigger. And even if we don't reach those dreams, I'm telling you, we've moved ourselves forward as a people, as a community. Do you know what I mean? Because we start to achieve new things and not just limit ourselves. I say understand business or money from as young as possible.
I agree.
You have to understand it. You have to understand what's going on, because these are the things that you're going to need when you get older. Whether you think it's the devil or whether you're not interested or whether you just want to buy stuff, understand money, understand business. Whether you're going to have a business or not, understand how business works, because that's how you can stop yourself from getting robbed.
Yeah.
That's how you know how to negotiate. And then for me, I think one thing that helped me later on in life was drama. Go and be something that you're not.
Yeah.
Go and act do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drama allowed me to act as a CEO and a boss. And then I created a character. And when I go to interviews, that's the character I used to pretend to be. And guess what? I got the job.
Yeah.
Because actually, I started to act in a way that I feel I deserved to be, even though I wasn't there yet. And then actually I got there. And so it's one of those things that let's get out of our bubble. Let's start to integrate and meet people, and then learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to speak to other people, especially elders.
Yeah.
Learn from their mistakes. Don't just think I'm new or you did it your way, I'm going to do it my way and feel like you're reinventing the wheel. Whatever you're doing, people have been doing in a different way hundreds of years ago. So learn from other people's mistakes. You'll get to your goal quicker.
And I think that relates to parents, you know. I think when I talk about parents, I think it's about understanding what the majority of their intentions are for the majority of different types of parents. You know, they would like the best for you.
Yeah.
So bear in mind what they're saying, try to understand the motivations, but also don't be afraid to do your own thing if you need to. And that's a fine balance, because I'm not one to say rebel or do whatever, you know, I'm not for that. However, there is an element of committing to a cause that has helped people become extremely and wildly successful. So like you were saying, obviously, don't be scared to dream. Don't be scared to have big goals. And sometimes those big goals go against what your parents' wishes are, you know. So if you can manage the art of diplomacy at a young age, manage that art if you need to. But there will be a point where you have to make a decision. It's either you don't do what you really want to do, or you continue to go on and do what you have to do. Because what's really important is making sure that you live an honest and true life as possible. And committing to the art of honesty to yourself and to other people is what will allow you to be truly successful.
Yeah.
In other words, achieve what you need to achieve. So commit to the art of being honest. Because sometimes what happens is that because of the people around us, we feel like we have to keep up with the Joneses. We feel like we have to keep up a certain sort of act or whatever it is. When thinking about it, it's more about positioning yourself in a way where you can truly do what you need to do. Because that's when you start attracting things that you want. That makes sense and is aligned to you as a person. So stick to being as honest as you can as early as possible, okay? But start to work out what activates or makes you alive as a person. You know, because when you can do that, then you can start committing to a cause and creating real sort of impact. But even going back to the money thing, learn the art of money as soon as possible. That comes down to saving for most youngsters, you know. That comes down to understanding the worth and value of certain things, because that comes down to their budgeting as well. But that also comes down to, I would say, how thinking about business in the future, if they wanted to start a business, speaking to sort of like mentors or whoever you need to speak to in order to sort of get the ideas around how you want to shape your life. Because the earlier you get that into play, the better. That's why all of these people are killing it on like X amount of monies, because they started young, you know. So don't be afraid to connect with people, as you were saying before, you know.
I agree, and I just feel like one thing I really wish I understood was that actually the most important thing is time. We focus so much on money and clothes, but the most important and the most valuable thing is time. And you're working hard should be to give yourself more time. People tend to work hard because they want more money. But that money requires you to continue to work and work and work. And then there's burnout, and what are you giving up and what are you not seeing because you're in this place 60, 80 hours a week. So for me, it's about how much do you value your time and learning. I wish I knew that younger, how important my time was, because there were so many Saturdays that I just didn't do anything, or so many weekends I didn't take advantage of, or didn't go into a course, or didn't go and learn something, or didn't go and meet someone, or I wasn't being productive. I was just living, and that was wasting time. And I feel like now I'm trying to make up for that and use my time effectively and do things. So I think learning the value of time. And then also like being open and honest, like just understanding about sex and that, you know, there's no rush. Man, I felt so much pressure to smash. Like, in case man don't know, that first time ain't gonna be great, my G. You're just busting for no reason. Like, you don't want to, but you're going to.
Probably in the wrong space anyway.
Wrong time, wrong everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of them things where like, sometimes I wish I didn't put that pressure on myself and I held myself. Do you know what I mean? And I know a lot, when I speak to a lot of people, they talk about the fact that, you know, they started so early. Do you know what I mean? That it got to the point that you're 25 and you're like, what's left? What haven't I done? Do you know what I mean? You're already burnt out.
I think even with the time thing, what I would say to that is, in the same token, I think it's a balance. And some people may not understand it, but time is an illusion as well. You know, there is no such thing as time. Like, as humans, biologically, we use time to organize ourselves and we use it to plan. But it's also understanding the power of the moment as well, you know? So knowing when to use your time when it comes to planning your goals and everything else, but also acknowledging and feeling the experience. So then you can use those experiences to then move forward to learn and do what you need to do. So bearing in mind that pressure is good, but don't create too much pressure where you cave in on yourself, because that's when we start having all these mental health problems.
Exactly.
Because of how social media accelerates and exacerbates a certain ideology or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So having that fine balance between the two. But just don't be scared, man. Like, just be authentically you and just go for it. You know, don't be scared to sort of like try things out. You know, those people who sort of like became big CEOs or business owners of whatever company did it scared. And like, it's almost like, in order for you to be successful as a person, you have to almost have like a childlike mentality, but in an adult shell, so to speak, you know? So continue to try new things and experiment and explore, because that's how you're going to get your data.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to understand what life is really telling you.
And that's the problem with adulthood. It as you get
Robs you of
older,
that.
you start to create boxes and limitations to yourself.
yeah.
That as a child, you don't know. Do you know what I mean? You think you can jump over a building, you think you can do whatever, and you will try and hurt yourself and then say, oh, well, that didn't work. Better not do that again. And then some of that's good, but some of it is limiting how you think and how you feel and what you can do. And then you put yourself in a box. So I know I can do these things well, and that's all I can do. But you were destined for so much more. And it's about not limiting yourself and trying things. And like you said, experience. Get experience doing different things. And then just not chasing money.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of us are trapped doing the job that pays us the most money, but actually doesn't give us the most happiness, doesn't bring us the most joy. And actually, when I learned that it wasn't about money, like, yes, money is important and we need it, and obviously I teach it, and I wouldn't teach it if it wasn't important. But actually, it's not the be all and end all. And actually knowing that, okay, I might need to leave the job that pays me the most for the job that gives me the most fulfillment. Because my time on this earth is short. And I'd rather be happy with 20 or 30K less and be happy and still be able to do what I want to do and have the time to go and visit my son at school when he has his plays and than be stuck in a job that pays me more, but now I'm an absent parent. And it's all about those priorities and what you find and living within those parameters.
I think sort of like the last thing I think about when it comes to sort of, what I'd say to my younger self is utilize the power of people. Utilize the power of people. If you can find someone who's older than you, who's walked your path, speak to them on a regular basis. If you can find a friend who you know is doing things and is excellent and you can relate to, speak to them on a regular basis. Make them part of your circle. If you can, like, people don't understand the power of real coaching. I'm not talking about this furu, fake coaching, I'm talking about real coaching and about giving you choice, giving you responsibility and unlocking your self-awareness to a higher level. That is so powerful for a young mind, because questions are the answers. Get really good at asking good questions. The more questions that you ask, the better answers you're going to get. And with those better answers, you're more likely to navigate through life in a more solid trajectory. You know, so get good with surrounding yourself with the right sort of people. Have an accountability buddy. Have someone you talk to about your goals, your dreams, your desires, things that happen on a social level, things that happen with girls or guys, or things that happen with your family. Have someone you can talk to. It's so important, because if you can surround yourself with a unit, obviously you can't be completely reliant on them because things can change. That's where the adaptability and stuff I talked about before is very important. But have people that, you can sort of co-depend on and you can bounce ideas off from, because that will help you accelerate more. No man or woman is an island. Remember that, because you can't do it all by yourself. So having someone who's there, who's walked your path is important. Someone who's like maybe slightly above or even at the same level is important. But having that sort of crowd around you, again, boosts you as a person. And just realizing the power of friendships, because it really can be the difference between somebody who feels, you know, really low or whatever,
Yeah.
and someone who feels uplifted all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but also recognizing that when it comes to perspective, not everyone is going to have the same sort of expectations or ideologies that you have.
Yeah.
And it's about realizing that in life, and I'm going to say this, there are no real rules. There aren't. There are things that people say, there may be laws, but there are no real rules. There are things in life that people have said that makes us feel like it has to be this way, or there are things that, or experiences that we've had that makes it feel like it has to be this way. But really and truly, life is life. Life will go on without you anyway. So when you recognize that rules don't exist, then you can start seeing life in a different playing field. And it allows you to be free and be the person that you're truly called to be. Now, me saying there are no real rules doesn't mean that you won't want to comply with stuff, because as we spoke about with culture and society, it makes things flow. However, recognize at the base of it all, rules don't really exist.
Yeah.
So play within your own game.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the last one from me is know God for yourself. Like, don't follow what other people say just because pastor says whatever.
Yeah.
Like, know it for yourself. Read that book for yourself. I feel like a lot of the time as youth, we get sucked in because, you know, they say stuff in a deep way. Like, they say something plain and simple and then say, but did you get it? Like, he went to the mountain. But he didn't really go. Like, do you understand? And we're just amazed as young people, and we're gone. Just read it for yourself and know God for yourself. Because for me, knowing God for myself meant that even when I went through all my trials and tribulations, I knew where I came from. I knew that footing, even in my darkest moments. And so for me, that's important. Don't just follow fashion or go to the coolest church because they've got the best music or the best band, or because that pastor preaches the best. Know it for yourself. Know God for yourself.
And we'll wrap it up there.
Wrap up there, man.
Yeah, man.